What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Daily Dodger Digest. I don't know what we're going to call this show yet. We're still not sure, but this is an emergency. I personally am DEFCON 2. Marvin, Jonathan, welcome to another episode. Thank you guys for being on. How are you guys feeling after today, after what you've seen after Game 1, Game 2? Marvin, Jonathan.
One word, worried.
Ooh.
Petrified is another one. It's another good one to use. Anxious.
Oh my God, I think we're all in that, like, we're just jittery, nervous, shaking. Yes. You can use every single word in the English dictionary that describes nervous and scared, and anything that pertains to being, just disarray. I mean, the synonyms keep coming. But let's recap games 1 and 2, shall we? I know it's not ideal. I know it's not something that we want to go through. It's painful, but it's something we have to talk about before we move into maybe some positives moving forward. But Marvin, give us what your thoughts are after seeing what happened in Game 1.
Well, coming from the point of view of a newly claimed to be Baltimore Orioles fan myself, hey, you can't be let down if you have no expectations, right? So far it's, oh man, like it's been an emotional roller coaster for me. You know, the first half of games 1 and 2, I'm happy because I'm looking at the Dodgers and they're going toe-to-toe with that Boston offense. Mm-hmm. And that's really what the biggest question was, can our offense keep up with their offense? But then, Game 1, Nunez with that home run. And then Game 2, the majority owner of the Dodgers, JD Martinez, with that 2-run RBI. There's always that hit that just deflates the Dodgers. And you see it in their faces, too.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely. There's a couple things that I look at it. So at first, the first half of the game, I'm happy because I'm seeing that the offense can keep toe-to-toe. But then yesterday after the game, I've been looking back at like stats and notes and all that stuff, and I'm kind of worried. Or actually, it made me more worried, I should say, because the Dodgers, by this postseason standard, the Dodgers in Game 1, that was one of their better offensive performances. And we got blown out 8-4. And then also looking at the Boston side, so far, Boston has been struggling this World Series. Now, I know you guys are going to call me an idiot because they won 8-4 and then they won again yesterday. But for the most part, this is a watered-down version of the Red Sox offense that we're seeing right now. You have Benintendi, Mookie Betts, and JD Martinez really powering that team, and then everyone else is kind of lackluster. So it's just those three guys that are beating us right now.
That's pretty much. Oh, that is scary. Okay, go on.
So there's two ways you can look at it. There's the pessimistic way, if you see it in a pessimistic way, you kind of think, well, damn, they're beating us with a struggling offense. I could just imagine when that offense turns on what it's going to look like. But at the same time, a little optimistic because this offense is struggling. The only reason that Boston is really ahead right now is because of their pitching. That bullpen has come together. Thank you in part to Eric Gagne, that douche, played for the Dodgers, but he's helping Craig Kimbrell with his, called him and told him about him tipping his pitches. And so far we've seen the Dominic Kimbrell ever since. And then for some reason, the Dodgers, leave it to the Dodgers to make David Price in the postseason look like Sandy Koufax. So, it's that Red Sox pitching has kept the Red Sox alive. Well, I shouldn't say I've kept them alive because they're up 2-0. But like I said, the offense is struggling, but it's their pitching staff that's really keeping them together right now. So if that offense keeps struggling, and the Dodgers offense keep, if they can take a step up, they're going to go up against two right-handers, and Game 3, I believe it's going to be Porcello, then Game 4, Evaldi.
Yeah, most likely.
So if they can get to them, and then that offense for Red Sox keeps struggling, or that he just keeps playing the way they're playing right now, we can potentially steal the World Series, but the Dodgers offense has to wake up, and right now it's not looking too good.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, what's your assessment after games 1 and 2? What did you see? What's your point of view?
I couldn't agree any more with Marvin about our offense. The offense is lackluster. And, the question I have today is, could it get any worse? It's going to have to get better in the next 2 games at Dodger Stadium if they want to force a Game 5 at home on Sunday. They're going to have to really step it up. Manny Machado has looked good. He was awesome in Game 1. He had 3 RBIs. And what I'm liking about the Dodgers, to take a positive from it, is that they're starting to make contact with the ball. That's something we didn't see too much in the prior series when they took on the Braves. Not the Braves, the Brewers in that tough 7-game series in the NLCS. We did not see what we're seeing now. So I think they have made more contact. Remember, in the last series, they were striking out quite a bit with runners in scoring position. There were several times in that series that they had runners at the corners, that they had runners in scoring position at second and third, and they couldn't, step it up, and they couldn't deliver or drive in any runs. And so we're seeing a little more improvement from this offense suddenly, but they're going to have to really wake up if they want a chance to win this World Series. If not, they're not going to win this World Series. Like Marvin alluded to, this Red Sox bullpen looks solid. You have Joe Kelly, who's lights out all of a sudden, and Craig Kimbrell, who was tipping his pitches, finally looks like his normal self as the closer. So that's a bit scary for the Dodgers moving forward. But I will say this, they're going to have to eventually cash in because they have a number of division titles and very little to show for it.
You know what? I'm on the side, and I'm going to ask you guys this question. If the Dodgers lose this World Series, granted, at one point, and we're going to hear this for a long time, even when next season comes around, we're going to hear the Dodgers were decimated with injuries. They made it to the World Series. The Dodgers were 10 games out of the West in May, closing in on June. They were in last place, and they made it to the World Series. The Dodgers struggled against the Brewers, and they made it to the World Series. They went to Game 163, and they made it to the World Series. Is this a successful year for the Dodgers or a failure? Marvin, Jonathan, what do you guys say?
Go ahead, Jonathan.
That's a tough question. I would say they underachieved given what they've done the prior season. Remember, they had a historic run last season, and coming into this season, they had high expectations, and they didn't live up to those expectations, but somehow managed to make it to the postseason.
Yep.
And have struggled ever since they've been here. So I would say that it's been a disappointing year. It's been a roller coaster ride, a wild roller coaster ride, one that a lot of people didn't envision, but it's happened that way. And fortunately for the Dodgers, they've been able to respond when their backs are against the wall. It's like a light switch turns on, and they just play with that urgency that you haven't seen from them early in the series, but they finally, turn it around later in the series. It's as if they enjoy the pressure that they have to play up against, and that's something we've seen all year from them. It's a bit frustrating if you're a fan, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they've come up empty each year, and it's been excruciating loss after loss or loss, and it's painful and it's hard to see this team stumble every year and get so close and they just fall a game short. So I think the Dodgers have really been a disappointment this year, and maybe this is good for them because it's less pressure on them as they are labeled underdogs in this series.
That's fair. Marvin, successful or failure of the year?
I'd have to go with Jonathan. It's a disappointing, and to me, it's a failure of a season because the Dodgers, they try to get cheap, and they thought that for the most part it worked because, hey, they got to the World Series. The whole kind of like the Moneyball system, analytics, sabermetrics, all that stuff. And it's just, I think hopefully this shows Friedman and the rest of that front office that it just doesn't work in the postseason. You're going to run into a team that just throws a bunch of power bats out there, and then your analytics don't help. And hopefully, like I know I said this last season, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Dave Roberts needs to go. We need a coach with some balls that can fire back at the front office, because right now it seems like it's just the front office it's kind of like the front office is in Dave Roberts' head, telling them what to do. We saw game 1 and 2. They left their top 4 home run hitters on the bench. Give them a shot. You can't get any worse than Kike.
Yes.
Give Bellinger a shot. But they went by the numbers. They saw that Bellinger wasn't any good against lefties, so they kept him on the bench. But, honestly, you can't get any worse than Kike, so you're upgrading your defense. So
Absolutely.
give his offense a shot. But overall, like I said, it's a disappointing season. At the end of last season, what was the one thing we said on our show at Jay? We talked about how we almost had it. It was just that a couple blown calls and Darvish.
Yes.
Kind of killing it, and it would have been our game. It would have been our World Series. So we came into this season talking about it's our World Series here. We're gonna win it. No one's gonna stop us. We're on a mission. Our team's too much. And unfortunately, we ran into the Boston Red Sox.
Well, here's a little bit of light on that. Last year, I look back at it, and yes, Darvish happened, whatever. That was a mistake. The other thing that's being overshadowed by last year's World Series is if Kershaw wins Game 5, we are the champions, because Game 6, Rich Hill was so dominant, kept us alive, and forced that Game 7. Kershaw had a lead, choked. And I really don't care at this point. Clayton Kershaw is a choke artist, and he's not one to depend on. We are not to fall back and rely on him. Year after year after year after year, he'll have one great start, one mediocre start, one or two terrible starts, depending on how long the Dodgers' postseason run goes. This year, he had a couple of bad games. He had a couple of good games, really good games, as a matter of fact. He had that great game against Atlanta, and he had a terrible game against Milwaukee, but then he bounced back against Milwaukee, and he closed it out. Terrible, disgusting start versus Boston. But fortunately, Chris Sale wasn't as good. So there was that. There's that with Kershaw. So we can blame Kershaw for some of this 0-2 hole we're in with the Dodgers. The other thing, and I'm with you, Marvin, Dave Roberts has got to go. If he's not going to step up and say, screw your analytics, screw your numbers, I see potential in Bellinger being out in the outfield because of his speed at defense, and he could potentially make better contact with that 150, 180 batting average over Kike, who's batting .096 in 7 at-bats. You really can't go worse than Kike at this moment. Even Yasmani Grandal, for the love of Christ, is getting on base. And Kike Hernandez is out here striking out. Kike Hernandez, honestly, is very emotional. He's very fragile. If they get to his head or his emotions, he's done with. He's done. It's over. And we saw what happened after the fans got mad and he retaliated against the fans. And ever since then, I think he's 0 for 20, if I'm not mistaken. So he has not had a hit since. So there's that. There's the hitting. There's Dave Roberts putting the wrong people at the plate. Third, and here's where it really, really gets me blood boiling mad. Jock Peterson. Everybody's looking at Alex Wood, game 1, giving up that 3-run home run. Yes, stupid-ass Dave Roberts. We get it. You made the mistake. You liked the matchup, quote, unquote. Even he didn't believe the stupidity that he threw out there. But we all saw Alex Wood make that mistake. But no one is talking about the fact that Jock Peterson was thrown into the outfield for Chris Taylor. He's running down in the 7th inning, a catch, an easy out, hits his glove, hits the tip of his fingers on the glove, ground rule double. Next pitcher, Pedro Baez comes in, goes 1-2, takes him out. Boom, he does his thing. Pedro Baez, the god, the hero, the person that I wanted to choke to death last year. I don't know if Jonathan and Marvin, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but for years I wanted Pedro Baez choked to death, just cease to exist as a Dodger player. And here he is in the postseason, 2018, the hero, the pen, the arm, the Pedro Baez we've been wanting for forever. And he gets taken out for Alex Wood. But the problem isn't just Alex Wood. If Jock Peterson catches that ball in the 7th inning, Pedro Baez, the next pitcher, the next batter, out, strikeout. The next batter after him, out, strikeout. It was Mookie Betts and Sander Bogarts, the 2 best hitters. They get taken out. 1, 2, 3 inning. We have the momentum in game 1. You could just sense the Dodgers were about to do something and take game 1. But Dave Roberts decides to throw everybody, give everybody a shot at hitting, give a shot at playing in the World Series. This isn't the Little League. This isn't your dad telling everybody, hey, we want you to participate so you can get that participation trophy. He just went out there and gave them the win in a silver platter. That's on Dave Roberts. So, yes, Dave Roberts has got to go. Front office need to step the fuck back and let someone go in there with their eyes. We all see this. We all saw Pedro Baez needed to stay in the game. We all saw Chris Taylor, who's batting .350, for God's sake. He needed to stay in there. The power is coming from 3 players. The offense is coming from 3 players, Manny Machado, Justin Turner, and Chris Taylor, and you're pulling them out. Someone like Gabe Kapler, someone like Terry Francona, A.J. Hinch, they see this and they say, no, front office, I'm sticking with Chris Taylor, who's going to run that ball down. No, I'm sticking with Pedro Baez, who already got 2 strikeouts from the 2 best hitters from Boston. That's what we need. I'm with you, Marvin. I feel it. That's where I feel we lost game 1. We lost game 1 because Dave Roberts and front office went stupid. Went full on, just straight up idiot on that one. That's why they get this special.
An idiot sandwich.
So let's talk about game 2. David Price. Did anybody see that Cy Young MVP pitcher just mowed down the Dodgers? I was at work and I told somebody, listen, for me personally, and this is how I feel. This is how I am right now. So I'd rather be wrong than be proven right. But this is what I've said already, and I'm sticking to it. If the Dodgers lose game 2 and can't score more than 3 or 4 runs on David Price in the first 3 innings, I'm done with the Dodgers. I'm done. There's absolutely no way, no how you don't score multiple runs on David Price, who's legitimately If you guys think Kershaw's trash, David Price is the juice under the garbage. That bad. So for me personally, if the Dodgers prove me wrong, I promise you, LA, I promise you, Dodger fans, I promise you, people listening out there, I will make a sign that says, thank you for proving me wrong. I'm sorry, Dodgers. Please forgive me. And I will hold it up in the parade. I promise you that. I promise you all that. But as for right now, I do not like the chances of the Dodgers. I do not like what I'm seeing. I don't feel like they're going to win. But Jonathan, give me your assessment on what you feel is going to happen Game 3, Game 4, and is there a Game 5 for the Dodgers?
Yes, given what we've seen this season, when their backs are against the wall and they've just managed to somehow bounce back from adversity. That's what's so amazing about this team. They're resilient. You can never quit on them because they always find a way to rebound. So I'm not counting them out yet. They're at home. The energy's going to be different. Dodger Stadium's going to be electric. They will have their fans behind them. I think they'll be fine. I think they will tie the series, and I think there will be a Game 5 on Sunday. But they're going to have to hit. This team is going to have to, string together some hits and, deliver. That's the key. They're going to have to deliver. I feel like they could beat this Boston Red Sox team. Everyone is talking about how good the Boston Red Sox are. As we've seen in history before, teams that dominate have been unsuccessful in winning World Series. We've seen it in the past. So
fair.
The Dodgers, I think the Dodgers got them where they want them, and I think somehow, in some way, the Dodgers will get it done. That's only if Dave Roberts doesn't make these boneheaded decisions that have cost the team. This is something we've seen a year ago. This is a mirror image of what we're seeing from last year's World Series. He's micromanaging the team. He's managing poorly. He's not using the right pitches at the right time. And then later on, his excuse is, well, I thought it was a good matchup. No, it wasn't a good matchup. You last night should have went with Pedro Baez or Julio Urias to get that final out in the inning. You failed to do so, and it cost your team, and it hurt you in the long run. I felt last night that the Dodgers have had all the momentum to win that game, to pull it out. And then once Maxson came in a situation where the pressure was ramped up, he couldn't get that final out. And that's what did the Dodgers in, and that's why they are now down 2-0 in the series.
Okay. So do you think they sweep 3 in L.A.? They take 2 out of 3? Or they just win 1 to force a Game 5? How do you feel about this 3-game series coming up in L.A.?
I feel that because baseball is a game of momentum, I feel they could sweep all 3. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very tough. And they're going to have to sweep all 3. If they don't, if they only take 2 in L.A., if they only take 1, this series is over.
Okay. Marvin, this Boston team defeated a 100-win New York Yankees, a defending champion. Granted, they were cheating. They were caught, but they were still stacked, fully loaded in every aspect of baseball, from pitching to hitting to defense and coaching. They were just outmatched and somehow, some way took that series from the Houston Astros in 5 games. Do the Dodgers have a chance, or what's your prediction coming up in LA?
I think tomorrow with Buehler, we can definitely take that. And as far as Game 4 goes, it's kind of difficult because we don't know who's going to pitch. Tomorrow, if Alex Cora has a chance, I'm sure he'll try to throw in Nathan Eovaldi. I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering that name, which means he really won't be available to pitch Game 4. So I don't know how he's going to work around that. But I can see the Dodgers taking 2 out of 3 because the Dodgers are built to play in the NL. You know, they play in the NL. They're built perfectly for that style of play. Alex Cora, rookie manager, he doesn't have experience managing with NL rules. And as we heard earlier today, he said that, I alluded to this, I believe it was last week or before Game 1. So I mentioned that Mookie Betts will most likely start a couple of games here in LA at second base, so you can have JD and right and Mookie at second. But Alex Cora just confirmed earlier today that for the most part, he said, I'm not going to start, and I'll put an emphasis on start because they asked him if some reporter asked him if Mookie Betts was going to play second base, and Alex Cora responded saying for all 3 games that Mookie Betts was not going to start second base. So I'm sure maybe we'll see some Mookie in there. But what that means is Mookie Betts is going to be in right field. So JD Martinez is going to be coming off the bench. Or you're going to have Mookie on the bench and JD in right field. Nonetheless, you're taking a couple of bats away from those 2 guys who are the guys that are beating us. So I can see the Dodgers taking 2 games in LA. But thinking about it, we have to win 4 of the next 5 games against this Boston Red Sox team. That's when it gets a little difficult for me because I could see them taking 2 out of 3 in LA, but winning 4 out of 5, I don't see that happening because the Dodgers, this is who the Dodgers have been. You know, they a lackluster offense who can sometimes get it done. You know, they'll have their days where they just blow up, score a bunch of runs, but for the most part, they strike out a lot. They're all trying to swing for the fences. Like I said, the Dodgers, they just have a high strikeout rate. They can't score runners in scoring position. This is who they've been all year. This is who they've been in the postseason. So I really don't see that switching up out of nowhere. I see this could possibly end in LA. Like, this has a very good chance of ending in LA because it just seems like you alluded to Kike Hernandez being very emotional. This whole Dodgers team is very emotional. So I feel
that's true.
And we know that. Yeah, we know that with Walker Buehler's weakness is that he gives up runs very early, and then he kind of settles down. But against his Red Sox team, if that offense is on point that night, those 1 or 2 runs that Walker Buehler gives up early before he settles in, they're going to turn into 4 or 5. And how's this Dodger team going to respond? Are they going to respond like, okay, no, we're going to get this, we're going to do it? Or are they just going to powder in the dugout and think like, oh, we can't do anything, this is over?
Yeah.
So I think the key to this series is those first 2-3 innings tomorrow. Because that's, like I said, that's Walker Buehler's weakness. Every one of his starts, he gives up a couple runs early on, and then he settles in. So those first 2 innings, if he can keep it to 1 or 2 runs, or hopefully none at all, we're in great position. But if they really just light him up, then we're in trouble because this Dodgers team, like I said, it seems like they give up. And like I said, I see it. Hopefully we get to Game 5. But the way things are going right now, I don't see it getting to Game 5.
So the advantage the Dodgers have now is they're going from that 40-degree weather to about, it's probably going to be around 80, mid-80s by the time they get here, by the time game starts at 5 o'clock. Is the offense has been hitting the ball, making good contact. Well, obviously, you know, everybody except for anybody not named Justin Turner, Manny Machado, or David Freese has been outstanding, obviously. So in this scenario, there's potential for the Dodgers to wake up their bats, per se. Because I would say maybe the cold did affect them. Maybe the pitching did suffer from the winter. Maybe being around this warmth will help them pitch and perform a lot better. Maybe that is a huge factor for the Dodgers. But you got to remember, if the Dodgers sweep, they still got to go back to Boston and finish it out there and try to finish it out there. Boston is already built for that weather. They're already inclined to that. The problem here is, just like the Dodgers could easily wake up, Boston has been making great contact as well. So they could greatly outperform the Dodgers now being in this warmer weather. So there is that factor. Again, I'm really hoping I'm proven wrong, but I just don't see a fight in these Dodgers aside from Turner, Machado, Freese, and maybe Yasiel Puig. Maybe some Yasiel Puig is pretty good in there. He'll electrify everybody. But it all falls down on the shoulders of Walker Buehler. This is where we're at now. Our season is on the shoulders on a rookie who can throw heat. No doubt he could throw heat. No doubt he could perform under the bright lights. But yes, Marvin, you just mentioned it. He gives up early runs. That's a huge uh-oh. But if they sweep this 3, that's a good sign. Go for it.
Oh, and I was going to mention that earlier, but you alluded to it right now. This warm weather, that ball travels.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully I'm wrong, but there was a couple hits at Fenway that Mookie Betts himself had 3 that could have been out of there.
Yep.
So that's another thing, as well as, and you mentioned it, as well as the Boston offense could take off, so can the as well as the Dodgers offense could take off, so can the Boston offense.
There were a couple of balls that hit that green monster. There were a couple of balls that hit that green monster.
But, yeah, definitely this is going to lean on the shoulders of Walker Buehler.
If he does it, here's the beauty about the position we're in, and I want to see if you guys could agree with me. The beauty that's going on right now with this Dodgers team, one, and I mentioned it a couple of weeks back, Walker Buehler is getting the exposure, the feels, the development in the brightest of lights. 2, Julio Urias, who is looking outstanding. Just, my God, I can't wait for 2019 because these are our 2 starters for 2019. Julio Urias and Walker Buehler are going to be in the starting rotation, and they're already getting the exposure, the experience, and just that development of being in the brightest of lights. And they're under 24 years old. I think Urias just turned 21, and Walker Buehler might be 22. My God, the future looks good. 3, you got Caleb Ferguson, who should have been in this roster instead of Alex Wood, but he's also getting that experience. So all these young guys are getting exposed, and they're developing, just like the Lakers. And another day we'll talk about another show. We'll talk about the Lakers, but just like the Lakers are going to now take that extra step with that legend of LeBron James, these Dodgers right now are growing with the brightest of lights. That's what I'm loving about right now, the situation. I'm not loving that they're down 0-2. I'm not loving that they're terrible so far, and I'm not liking that they're emotionally inclined to failure. Their emotions are attached to the fan base. Their emotions are attached to striking out. Their emotions are attached to getting heckled and just they fail and the whole game is done. They give up a run, the whole game is done, and you can see it. They look defeated. There's no doubt in my mind. So what are you guys with me on that? Right now it's great that the Dodgers are in this position because of the youth that's developing, but it's bad that we're down in the situation and we're depending on Walker Buehler for right now. We're depending on Walker Buehler. How do you guys feel about that?
There's not another person I wouldn't want on the mound than Walker Buehler, the way he handled the situation. The guy, calm demeanor. I said this yesterday, and it's just amazing what he's been able to do in situations like this. He likes the big moments. He's embraced his role, and he knows what's at stake, and he will do whatever it takes to try to win the ball game. And I have great confidence in him, and I believe in him. And, you know, these young guys, as you said, they're getting the exposure, you know. They're our future, and they look really good. I'm happy about our future, the promising arms that we have in the rotation and in that bullpen, and I'm just excited for what's to come. But what I'm not thrilled about is us being down 0-2 in the series, and another thing that hurts is the fact that the Dodgers could fall in back-to-back World Series and come away with nothing. That's what's painful about the whole thing, is that their backs are against the wall, and if they lose tomorrow night, they're on the brink of elimination, and it's going to be worse than what it was a year ago. Because a year ago they did take the Astros to 7 games, but this year the season could end much earlier because they faced a very good Boston Red Sox team that if they jump on you early, most likely the game is theirs. So that's the biggest concern tomorrow with Walker Buehler on the mound is, will he be locked in early? If he's not locked in early and the Red Sox put 2 runs on the board early, then you can forget it. You can forget it because the Red Sox, they don't make too many mistakes, and if they do, they'll beat you either way because they have the power. They have that lineup that can, score runs really quick. And another thing is that if the Dodgers make mistakes, which they have in this series, the Red Sox are a team that will capitalize on those mistakes. We've seen it time and time again. And that's the biggest concern in Game 3.
Okay. I mean, just hearing that falling to 2 World Series back-to-back, it hurts. Like, I want to, like, my knees buckle. Like, they just shake hearing that and thinking about that. Marvin, what's your take on that? All hope is resting right now on the shoulders of Walker Buehler, the rookie.
It definitely is, because like I said earlier, I think the turning point to this World Series, if there is a turning point, it's going to be those first 2-3 innings tomorrow by Walker Buehler. Because as all of us have mentioned, as pretty much every Dodger fan knows, the Dodgers are they're a very sensitive bunch. And they thrive on momentum. When they're down, we saw it against Milwaukee, and we've seen it against Boston this series. When they're down, it just looks like they don't even want to be there. Like, they look so sad out there, and as a fan, you can't help it but feel, like, pathetic yourself. Like, man, like at least try. But then one hit can change it all with this team. And that kind of goes with that whole thing Jonathan alluded to about capitalizing on mistakes on behalf of the Dodgers and Boston, is that we'll have them to 2 out. We saw it yesterday. We're bases loaded, but 2 outs, 2 strikes, and it's kind of like, all right, we got them, and that's where the Red Sox thrive. The Red Sox thrive when they're down. They're down 2 outs, and this whole postseason, I believe they scored 68 runs, and it was something around the lines of 39 of those runs have been with 2 outs. So this is where the Dodgers really need to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
And as you asked about, like, how's the future looking, players-wise, it looks good. But the fact that I know Dave Roberts is there and the fact that I know that this front office still exists, that's what worries me. This team has to go away from this whole sabermetrics thing, or at least admit that, it doesn't work when you fully do it. We're going to switch it up. Houston last year, they were a full-on analytics team. They were built that way, and they played that way the whole season and postseason. But against the Dodgers, we saw A.J. Hinch multiple times where by the letter of the law or by the numbers, he should have switched it up, but he didn't. He went with his gut instinct, and it paid off. And that's why I keep saying fire Roberts, because last World Series, it didn't work. Roberts, not one time did I see Roberts actually follow his gut, and it didn't work out. So coming this World Series, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I thought, okay, Roberts, he learned from his mistakes. He'll change it up. And so far we haven't seen that at all. He's still following the numbers. And so I don't think he's going to switch that up. If he hasn't done it, if he hasn't learned his lesson from last World Series, and he's still, he got creamed these 2 games, and he's still going to do it, like, I don't see why we should keep him. And as LAJ, me and Jonathan, I don't know if you know this, but me and LAJ fight to the death about this topic. But I always say spend money. You need to spend money to win. And so the Dodgers need to go out and spend money. whether it's go out and pay Manny Machado, go out and get someone to the likes of Bryce Harper, go out and get another pitcher. Like, do it. You're going to need to do it because this whole build-up from the farm with just pure analytics is not going to work.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm the type of guy who likes a star-studded roster myself. So I will say they would have to pay a guy like Manny Machado. Pay him. Give him whatever he wants to keep him here. Hey, you got to deal with Time Warner Spectrum now, Spectrum Sportsnet. Hey, give him a reality show. If he wants that, give it to him. Give him whatever he wants to keep him here because he's your future if he stays here. And the guy is electrifying. He's one of those
24 years old.
Yes, he's one of those players who will bring in the crowd, and he will keep the intensity going. You need a guy like him. He's your future for sure, and hopefully we do whatever it takes to keep him in the Dodger uniform and to sign him long term.
Hey, listen, I'm with you guys on that. I'm Jonathan, Marvin, I'm with you on Manny Machado. I'm definitely with you. But you also got to take into consideration the Dodgers, if at one point David Price was on the trading block from Detroit in 2014 or 2015. I'm not too sure on that. But if you guys remember, when he was on that trading block, they wanted a player named Corey Seager for that trade. Now, in this instance, which I understand Corey Seager's injured, but in this instance, which turned out to be the better option, keeping Corey Seager or going David Price? Which one went best?
Keeping Corey Seager, because if you had traded for David Price, who struggles in the postseason, it would be a double version of Clayton Kershaw.
Yep. So there's that. I'm with you. Like, they traded for Manny Machado, but they didn't give up the top prospect. They didn't give up Walker Buehler like originally they wanted in the early season when Corey Seager went down. So the Dodgers waited. They had a great prospect show up at the right time, and the Orioles bid on it. Cool. Let's do trades like that. Let's not go crazy and give up, because also take into consideration, Chris Sale was also on the trading block. Now, Chris Sale, granted, he's been great. He's been outstanding, but he hasn't been fully healthy, and he hasn't been fully productive. At one point, when he was on the trading block, they wanted Julio Urias and Walker Buehler for that pitcher. So in this scenario, again, we're in the scenario where you give up your two best prospects for one great pitcher. Which one would have been best? I like what I'm seeing right now from Walker Buehler and Julio Urias, so I'm not too, upset about them not trading for Chris Sale. Eventually, Chris Sale was traded for some decent prospects, some okay prospects. I don't even know who they are, but obviously the trade went for Boston. So there's scenarios where, yes, Dodgers need to make a move and get some great all-star players. They got it with Manny Machado. Last year, and I was driving at work today, and I passed by Angel Stadium. The moment I passed by Angel Stadium, I thought, the first thing that came to my head, man, we dodged one of those biggest bullets, and it wasn't even our fault. Like, we tried. We almost had Ohtani. And what happened with him? Injury, the UCL. They handled it wrong. He's going to have to go to Tommy John surgery. He's going to miss all of 2019. He was electric. Yes, he brought in the crowd. Yes, he was great. But he's not going to pitch, and that's what we needed. So we dodged that bullet. Then my mind went to Chicago. We dodged two bullets. We were all upset. We were all pissed. Not because of Yu Darvish, but because of Brandon Morrow, our eighth inning guy, the man that played in every single game last year of the postseason. But he goes down towards the end of the year, and we dodged that $10 million bullet. Yu Darvish, I just mentioned it. We dodged that bullet as well. Imagine right now, being a Dodger fan, you just dropped, $210 million, and he gets injured after the bull that he busted in Game 7, the bull that he busted in Game 3. Man, right now we'd be so pissed. We probably wouldn't even be in the World Series, to be honest with you. But what I want to get into now is I'm going to give you guys my lineup. If you guys have a different lineup or a different matchup or however you guys want to structure your lineup, let me hear it. So I'm going to give you my lineup, and you guys tell me if you agree or what will you change. First, my first leading off, JP Hoonstra from the OC Register already came out and said that Dave Roberts has come out and said that he's going to go Jock Peterson to lead off Game 3. I'm not too 100% on that. Better than Brian Dozier. I'm going to tell you right now, 100% better than Brian Dozier. But for me personally, I'm going Chris Taylor to start it off. Then to back him up, I'm going crazy, out of the block, out of routine. I'm going Jock Peterson to back him up in left field. Chris Taylor would play second base for me. Justin Turner batting third. Manny Machado batting cleanup. To back up Manny Machado would be Cody Bellinger at center field. Max Muncy plays first base. Austin Barnes plays catcher. And Yasiel Puig in the 8th spot playing right field. What are your guys' starting lineup if you guys have anything different? Jonathan, do you have anything different?
I like that entire lineup. The only thing I would switch is Jock Peterson as leadoff. The reason why is because he's successful as a leadoff hitter. I like him as a leadoff hitter. He's done some damage in that role, and I think he could do some damage tomorrow if he's the leadoff hitter. I like Chris Taylor to be second in the lineup because Chris Taylor, if he gets hot, he could drive in Jock Peterson.
Okay.
And there you go. You have a 1-0 lead. And then I like Manny Machado at cleanup because we all know what Manny Machado could do with his bat. And he's been hot in this series. I don't think he will cool down. I think he will continue to swing the bat consistently. And I like him in that role. And I like JT, of course, where he is because JT is a clutch hitter when he wants to be. And I think tomorrow he will have one of those games, one of those moments. And I like Cody Bellinger in the lineup because I feel he should be in the lineup every night. And I feel that's been a poor decision by Dave Roberts not to give him enough bats.
Yeah, how do you not have the National League Championship Series MVP in the World Series starting lineup? I understand it's a lefty-lefty matchup, but given what you've seen from Kike, Marvin said, Jonathan noticed, why are you not going with your MVP? It's a dumb move. It's a simple move. Anybody with half a brain knows that. Yeah, keep going. Sorry. Exactly.
And so, I like that lineup. I think that lineup would do good for the Dodgers tomorrow. If there's a left-handed pitcher pitching again in the future for the Red Sox, you got to go back to David Freese as the leadoff hitter.
I was going to ask about him.
He's been dynamic when he leads off for the Dodgers. I like him because he's also one of those guys you could depend on when you need a clutch hit. And he's done it before. He's been there before. He knows.
Yep.
So I like him in the lineup if there's a left-handed pitcher.
I think in this situation right now, he's kind of the hot bat. We need more production in clutch hitting. Because there's going to be a moment where Walker Buehler is going to have to come out. There's going to be the 6th inning, the 7th inning, whatever inning it is, but he's going to need to come out. And hopefully there's some players on base, and Walker Buehler's spot is coming up. David Freese would be the person I would love. If the game is on the line with runners in scoring position and someone in the bench, you have Kike Hernandez, you have Matt Kemp, you have David Freese, you have Max Muncy, you have all these other players on the bench, I'm going David Freese for that. David Freese is going to be the guy to pinch hit first and drive in those runs. That's who I feel 100% comfortable giving the lead to. Marvin. So we got Taylor, Jock, Turner, Machado, Bellinger, Muncy, Barnes, Puig. Do you have a different lineup or a different setup?
No, I like that. I definitely agree with Jonathan. I would do Jock first, followed by Taylor, and then Turner and Machado. Because you just need people that get on base. Because right now, really the only guys that are producing for you are Turner and Machado. So you need some guys that can get on base before then. So I like that. I like the first four. After that, after Machado, it's just kind of like there's really nothing solid for us. It's kind of just throw darts at a board and see what sticks. Because,
as long as it's not Kike.
Yeah, as long as it's not Kike, because you don't know what you're going to get from any player on any given night. They're all wild cards from there on now. No one's had a solid, consistent performance. But yeah, I like the lineup. I definitely like it. But yeah, like Jonathan said, definitely Jock first, Taylor second. Those guys, hopefully they can get on base because we know Turner and Machado can bring them in, and that's all it takes. You don't need to swing for the fences. It's just drive and run. Get whatever the pitchers give you. Get what you can take. You don't need to. Not everyone in the lineup needs to swing for the fences, and that's really what's hurting us right now. The Dodgers are worried about their launch angles, exit velocity, and whatnot. No, just put the ball in play. Just keep it simple. Put the ball in play, 1 or 2 runs, whatever you can get here and there, and that's how you win.
Yeah,
man.
I agree. They're relying on the home run too much, and all they're thinking about is leaving the yard. Baseball is not about leaving the yard. I'm the type of guy who likes small ball. I like aggressive base running. I like just putting the ball in play, and I like stealing bases and scoring runs. That's how you win baseball games. Put the ball in play. This is something that the Red Sox do well. They put the ball in play, they run the bases aggressively, and they find ways to score runs without relying so much on the home run ball. I think that's what hurt the Dodgers this year. I think that's what's been a difference because they look to hit the home run instead of just putting the ball in play. They're waiting for the home run, and it's not what this game is about. It's about scoring runs, and that's something they're going to have to do tomorrow if they want to keep their season alive.
Yeah, I swear, Dodgers, I promise you, Dodger fans, everybody, I swear, I want to look stupid carrying that sign in front of millions. I know millions of people are going to be watching that parade. I know for a fact millions of people are going to be at the parade. I will gladly walk with a big-ass, I'm talking about big-ass sign. I'll put it on a stick and carry it like those people that preach the end is near, the end is near. My sign, I wanted to say, I'm sorry, Dodgers, for not believing in you guys and giving up after game 2. I want to make that sign. Please make me look stupid. Please prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I'm saying it now because I'm a frustrated fan. I'm saying it because what I've seen, I'm not liking it. So I want to be proven wrong. Give me that option. So I'm throwing it out there. I'm throwing it out there to the universe. But before we leave, what are your thoughts and how are you feeling about Game 3, Marvin?
Game 3, I feel good because it's Walker Buehler. At this point, he's our best pitcher. And, we're coming back home to Dodger Stadium. We're going to have, for the bigger part, we're going to have an electric crowd, So,
I mean, $700 for a ticket. Yeah, it should be an electric park.
I feel good because, like I said, for the most part, it's Walker Buehler. It's gonna be hard, but Walker Buehler can pull it off. This, like I said earlier, it's a struggling offensive lineup right now for the Red Sox. So he can pull at least 6 innings together to really give that bullpen a rest. As long as Dave Roberts doesn't mess it up, then it'll go our way. And from there on out, it's just momentum.
Yeah, I mean, you're.
But yeah, I just hope that. Yeah, I hope this warm weather doesn't help out those bats over in Boston. That's what scares me the most.
Yeah.
The fact that sure, the warm weather helps us, but we're not making contact. Boston is making contact. Mm-hmm. So that warm weather is going to help them out.
Okay. All right. And Jonathan, I said about Game 3.
Likewise, Dodgers pull it out tomorrow. They will grind out this victory, and thanks to Walker Buehler. I think with Walker Buehler on the mound, you have a very good chance of winning any ball game. So Dodgers in Game 3.
Hey, let's hype it up. Let's hype it up real quick. Walker Buehler, he's a man. He's going to be the man for the next 10 years. He's going to run this league like nobody's business. He's got the composure. He's got the characteristics. He's got everything. He's got everything going for him to be a dominant pitcher. Tomorrow, that is going to show up. We're going to get 8 strikeouts. He's going to go 7 innings. He's going to go maybe 1 or 2 runs given up, but the Dodgers are definitely going to wake up tomorrow. They wake up tomorrow, Boston better beware. I guarantee you, if the Dodgers, everybody in the lineup could get one hit, no matter who's on that lineup, if everybody could get one hit, I promise you and I guarantee you these Dodgers are taking the series. That's all it's going to take. So, real quick, who's your player of the game tomorrow? Jonathan.
Cody Bellinger and Manny Machado. I have 2.
Boom. Marvin, who's your player of the game tomorrow?
I'm going to go with Machado. He knows his Red Sox team the best, and I think he'll pull it off. He'll get us. I think he'll carry us. Even if the Dodgers, I know you alluded to the Dodgers won't get in a hit, but even if that doesn't happen, even if it's a struggling offense, I still think Machado, he'll get himself at least 4 RBIs. Machado himself will bring this game to us.
Easy. Do yeah, definitely. I mean, he threw in. He got 3 RBIs. What was it yesterday? I mean, Game 2, he got 3 RBIs himself. So I'm with you on that, Machado for sure. But for me, it's gonna be Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler's gonna be the man. Everybody's gonna bow down to him, and we're gonna see the rise of the God. And this is where it's gonna get real good. So Game 3 tomorrow, 5:00. Prepare yourself. Let's get this win. Let's get moving. Let's bring that championship and end this 30-year route. Let's do it. With that being said, I'm LAJ.
This is Marvin.
Jonathan, give everybody your handles. Give everybody your handles of where they can catch up with you.
Was that for me?
Yeah, give everybody your social media handles.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So you guys can check me out on Instagram, SportsJudge85. You guys can also follow me at Twitter. That's the same thing, SportsJudge85. And you could look us up at SoCalChronicles.com. Check out our commentary on the Dodgers and the Lakers and all that good stuff here in Southern California. That's about it for me. You guys enjoy the game tomorrow. Thanks for having me on, LAJ. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for being on.
You guys, Marvin.
Yep. Thank you for being on. So tomorrow, let's get this W. Let's go Dodgers. Let's finish this. Let's go. Let's listen. Let's make sure tomorrow we hear this at the end of the day, at the end of the game. Thank you guys for being on. We'll catch you guys after Game 3, Game 4, Game 5. We'll try to do this. So you guys have a great night.
Have a good one, everyone.
Have a good one. Take care.
Rolling down Imperial Highway.
It's TSA good line. JD Martinez.
Oh yeah, he might not play tomorrow. That's a possibility. I mean, whatever we gotta do. Baseball gods, help us. You're on the way home.
Crank up the beach boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. We gonna ride it till we just can't ride it no more. From the side to the valley, from the west side to the east side, everybody very happy, 'cause the sun is shining all the time. It's like another perfect day.